Hey everyone, I'm coming to you live on, I guess this Friday. This is a surprise live stream again, and I'm still working on this grease mum. So give me just a second to pull all this up. Nobody's waiting anyway, so it's fine. But those of you who are replaying it, I apologize. I need just a minute. So what I have done, it looks dark again. I don't know why when I go live it looks dark in here to me. Let me brighten it up a little bit, see if that helps. So I haven't attached any of the braids and chains yet. I'm just got them clipped on kind of where I want them, but I got all of them made. And I made this whip braid. And then I weaved this truck ribbon in there, which I still have to glue down. I haven't done that yet. I will have a tutorial for this coming up. Not for the weaving, I did that afterwards, but I have shown that on a tutorial before. It's very simple. I'll just pull some of it out and show you guys how to do it. It's really easy. So I want to lay these braids out where I want them on the mum. I did this 3 loop chain, I should say. And I already put her name on it and I already put the year. And I have a tutorial I will be uploading for that as well. I already did this tutorial this week, this fox braid or love chain. And then the spirit chain I did in the first live stream. So usually I do odd number of braids because that usually looks better. But 4 worked out with this one, and it really just depends on your mum and your braids, what size braids you're using, blah, blah, blah. But since this is a wide braid, so it's going to take up more room, and it could be like using 2 braids. And then these are all 7/8 inch width ribbons. So they're a little bit wider braids. If I had used 9/16, they would have been skinnier braids, and I probably would have had to use more. So it all depends on all that. So I added Rydell High School for grease, T-Birds, those are black vinyl, and then this pink ladies is very delicate. It's glitter cardstock. I'm very excited about these custom cutouts that I made. So I made this grease one from the logo, and that's in red and black. Hi, Marissa. Yes, I will. I actually have them stored in so many places because I've gotten so many now. But I will tell you, I started out, when I very first started out, and I had a little card table in the corner of our master bedroom. That was my crafting table, and that's where I did the hair bows, and I started doing mums. And I had, you know, those plastic pencil boxes that the kids get at school. I had, I think, 2 of those with trinkets. And that's how I started out, with 2 of those, and that's all the trinkets and bells I had was in those plastic containers. And I still have those in my drawer. I still use those for some like bigger sized ones. So anyway, I did the grease in black and red, and I just found the logo on the internet and then used my I have a brother scan and cut, so everybody's is, you know, if you have a silhouette or a cricket, whatever, everybody's is different, but I use their program that's called I think it's called Canvas Workspace. And anyway, you can just download the pictures on there and it'll separate everything for you. There was a bunch of outlining on the grease, so I had to delete a bunch of stuff because I just wanted that simple grease in the middle. So I cut that out in red, and then I had to outline the black, the car. And there's on the Canvas Workspace, it's just like a double circle, and you click on that, and it was 0.02 inches is how much I outlined it. So I just cut that out because I just wanted that black silhouette, and then the grease in red. And then I found a jacket clip art and I just cut out the outline of it. It had all this stuff going on it, but all I had to do was outline it, so that's all I cut out. And I thought it was real similar to that era of jacket, and I cut that out, of course, in pink. And then I found a font on my Over app, which is the photo editing app that I use on my phone. And I see a bunch of people coming through. I'll say hi in just a second. And so I found a font in that Over app that was really similar to the jackets, and I cut it out. It's really delicate, and I had to put in those little pieces, and I used E6000 glue to glue this together. And I just cut out a weird shaped black piece of glitter cardstock that would fit behind this and, you know, make that stand out. So then I took those very delicate letters and I ran it through my sticker, Xyron sticker maker, and that's how I attached it here. And then I put books on top of it and let it sit overnight. I also put these on like a table and then put hardcover books on top of these and let them sit overnight. That way they're glued down really well. Oh, hey TJ, you made it. I'm so glad. Thanks for joining. So I am just super, super proud of these custom cutouts. This is what I'm gonna put on the flower, and then I'm gonna put this on one of the braids. And as you can imagine, you know, since it's not for homecoming, I'm not going to be able to put like all the regular stuff that I would for homecoming. So when you're doing like a baby shower mom or birthday mom or Valentine's, you know, you have to think outside the box and do other stuff. So I do more custom cutouts because I'm using less other things. And I think I could still get away with using some sports balls, because if you guys remember the movie, you know, he tries out for different sports, but he's not very good at them. So you could still do like sports balls, and so I don't know. I haven't decided on all that yet. So I haven't added any more ribbons than the last time you guys saw. I just added those stickers. And I cut out, of course, in black and red. So I really was trying to stick to the black and red, which is a little bit of pink. And this braid or chain, I want it to be more on top. So I'm actually going to attach it last. I know in the past I've shown you to attach the middle ones and then go out from there because it's easier. But a lot of times that one braid or chain that you really want to stand out will kind of get buried. So I found if you attach it last as best you can, sometimes it can be difficult if you have it in the middle. I'm going to have it kind of off to the side, middle side, so it won't be too difficult. But anyway, if you attach it last, it's going to be kind of on top of the other ones and it's going to stand out more. So even if it's a little more difficult to attach it, you can always use hot glue or something. So I want to go ahead and lay these out so I kind of know where I want them. And I want to be careful. I don't want to attach, I don't want to cover up that T-birds. You can't see that T real well, but it's okay, you know, when it's moving around and stuff, you can see the stuff underneath. So I like to hide things all throughout. That's why I'm always putting stickers everywhere, because when they're wearing them and they're moving, you can see all that. So okay, that one will go there. This one will go here. So you see what I mean? It's going to be kind of on top of those, and I want it just to kind of lay on top of those so it stands out more. And I had it hanging up, so I knew that it looked good hanging up, so I always like to do that first. And I've got that little easel I can use to hang up, or just hang them up on these boxes I have above my ribbons. I'll go ahead and hold it up and make sure it's laying where I want it anyway. And this will get smashed a little bit because the backer is about right here, so those will get smashed a little bit. I'm trying to cut on a staple or something. Oh, I am. I'll run my scissors. I don't like the ribbons up in here covering the center. I always like to attach these with the arrow at the bottom. That's just my choice. I know some people like to do them like this. So whatever your preference is, just make sure it's not that way. That's the back, so you don't want to do that. So you want to do it like that. You always want to hold these up as you're attaching stuff because it's not going to be worn flat like this. It can look awesome flat like this, and then you hold it up and you're kind of like, ooh, I don't like the way those are laying. So always keep bringing it up and taking a look at it and see what you like. I need to glue that down before I go any further with this. So all I do, I'll unravel it a little bit. I just start at one end and then pick which color you're going to go over, which stripe, and then just find that where it overlaps and then just weave it through there. And I picked these trucks because they're vintage, so I thought that that would go good with the theme. And the customer really liked it. So it's going to go that direction. You can see the little trucks going up. It's not all perfect and even, but I think that's the best one there. So I just glue down both ends so it doesn't come out. Still seems really dark in here. Is it just me? I don't know what it is about the live streams. They're so much darker. That might be too bright. We'll see. Okay, and I could also, I think I will do some black glitter on top of that. Let me find my black glitter. Finding every color, but I'm using these like crazy, you guys. There's some black. There's a small black glitter, and here's one with little, almost diamond looking. Let me see that. I haven't used any of these yet. So I'm just going to start by pushing that through. It's real easy. You just have to keep wrapping around. This is really thick. To hold it up to the light so I can see where they are though. That's the only thing. See, I think that looks really cool. Well, I'm thinking of it. We found these. Marissa, I've got another Dollar Tree thing for you. These stickers. We've only found them at one Dollar Tree. They're like dome-shaped sports stickers. So there's 4 footballs, 3 basketballs, 2 soccer balls, and 5 basketballs. But I think they're so cool. And they're metallic. I would, of course, add hot glue to them to make sure they didn't fall off. But I'm excited to use those. So you just have to keep kind of pulling on the ribbons. Once you get down here so far, it gets hard to pull on it. You just have to keep going up and pulling. It's a little bit tedious, but it's not difficult. And again, it's just one of those things you can do to change up a braid, add to it. Thank you, TJ. I like this. I'm going to use some other bling. It's not really bling though. It's not like diamonds, but to me it looks like chrome. I've used it before. I'll show you guys after a while, but it just really made me think of this because of like the muscle cars and stuff. You think of a lot of chrome. Yeah, aren't those cute? I just think they are so cute. And they're getting more and more stickers and more stuff, especially that Crafters, what's it called again? Crafter Square. They're getting so much stuff. I love it. These ribbons were some of those Hobby Lobby clearance finds that I got a while back, so I don't know if they even carry these anymore. You see why I do this before I add it to the mum? That would be really difficult. Okay, that should be good. Try to remember which way's front. I just need to glue that down. So you don't have to worry about the rest of it. You just need to glue down the 2 ends, and that is it. See how much that just added to that braid by doing that simple thing. Now, of course, you could go crazy and go the other direction as well, but I'm not going to go that crazy. So I don't want to go too long, but where I'm going on those, hold it up, and you see it's kind of going this way a little bit more than I want it to, so I'm going to go, just give it a little twist. And that's about perfect right there. Even though laying down it's covering that up, that doesn't mean it will. I don't know why I put my staple up. that's perfect. I'm just going to trim that off a little bit because I don't need all that mess there. Now I can add this one. Perfect. I like to put several staples on these braids and chains just to make sure it's not going to come off. I'm going to put that grease. You see, I messed up just a little bit. I got it too tight right there. That happens sometimes. And so you can see it, it stands out. That's why I'm going to be adding the grease right there to cover that up so I won't have to worry about that. Here's the bling I want to use. Okay, it's not diamonds, it's just like this chrome looking. So I use this a lot on the guys' mums, the garter mums, because it's not really bling and it can be, you know, like I said, it can look like chrome or something. So I thought it really would look good with this. So I might glue right there in the center. Just like too deep. And it's just like that diamond wrap. You can just cut it to size. So it's going to be covered in the backers right there, so I don't have to worry about going up in there because you're not going to see that. And you could go all the way down at the bottom if you wanted to, if you weren't planning on putting anything. Now one of the things I'm going to have to be careful of is when I'm shipping this, you know, when you glue something like this all the way across, what tends to happen is it makes it stiff. And then when I'm packing these up, a lot of times I pack them to where they're in a box like this, and then I fold all this over. So if I make it too stiff, guess what? I can't. It'll be difficult to do that. I come across that with these love chains or box braids. You know, when I carve them and I put a lot of bling on them, well, it makes them super stiff and you can't do anything else with them. So I have to be very cautious of what I'm putting on these mums that I'm shipping. This hot glue gun is very hot, so I don't have to worry about it cooling down too fast. My allergies are still bad. Okay, I want to put some bling there, definitely. I can go ahead and glue that. I like it curved just a little bit. What I'm gonna do is just glue. I got a little too much glue on there. It's okay though, it's just like right there. But I'm gonna leave that alone. I'd rather leave it alone and let it dry like a little blob there than have it string, you know, smeared or something. It touched it a little bit. It's really difficult though to find boxes long enough, and then the shipping, you know, the bigger you go, the more it can cost, and then of course the heavier it is, the more it can cost. The taller it is, the more it can cost. I'm learning so much about shipping, and it's crazy, but some of the really big ones, the girls ones, I did in like wreath boxes, and those were expensive to ship and kind of had wasted space because they were square, and I still had to fold a lot of stuff over because they're so long. But I realized if I used a skinnier box that it didn't cost as much for some reason. Some reason square boxes cost more when you get a certain bigness. If it's a small square box, it's not, it's fine. But I found some of these, so I order a lot of free mailing boxes from the United States Postal Service. And you have to make sure though that they are just mailing boxes. You don't want to get anything that says regional rate A or B, because they cost more for some reason. And I was using those last year and made that mistake and got charged double on some of them. But anyway, I have found that if I anchor down the head and then I put tissue paper and then carefully fold over everything and put tissue paper on anything delicate, and just in between all these layers, that they pack really well and they travel really well if you do it like that. And then I put tissue paper over the top. So I'm putting a lot of tissue paper on them, but just folding them over seems to work better than anything because you don't have to worry about them flying everywhere. But I have tried to do some of the smaller ones where they were really flat, and it's more difficult. It really is. So, and I've not had one person say that their mum was messed up when they got it. Out of all these mums that I've shipped, I cannot believe it. Not one person has said anything was wrong with it when they got it. So that's been a miracle to me. So I should probably, this fall, when I start getting a lot of orders, I'll try to do some more shipping tutorials. The more that I've learned and stuff, and how I'm boxing them, because I am boxing them a little bit different. You know, it's one of those learning processes. Now, this is going to be a little bit difficult to get the bling on here, just to hot glue it on there, because I'm going to have to get up under those. But I really want some bling on there. So yeah, I just think that looks really good. And then you want just enough to go under the loop. It doesn't have to go very far, just as long as it's not seen. See if I can do this without messing it up. Ooh, barely. Barely got it where I needed it, but it's fine. You can't see the ribbon. They're so cute. mean, I could do some tutorials on, you know, what I've learned about selling on Etsy and stuff too. I mean, like tips and stuff if you guys are interested in that. I know there's other selling sites and stuff, but I don't know if anybody else is selling on Etsy or considering it, or just you just want to know about the shipping or boxing and stuff. But the shipping was definitely a learning experience. It still is. I'm still learning. There's so many rules. And I have a really good mailman, and he's been very patient and giving me lots of advice and tips and stuff. So I've been lucky about that. So let me see. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to put like pom-poms down here, or I don't know if I have red. Yeah, I could do feathers or bows, or I still haven't decided about that. Let me go ahead and start attaching before I do too much decorating. But I need to decide if I'm going to put any more ribbons before I attach this, because that's what I hate, is attaching this and then thinking, boy, I wish I would have added some more ribbons to this, or some trinkets hanging off. So I could hang, you know, some of this if I wanted to. And usually, like if I glue some bling on there, I glue it just right below where the backer is, because, you know, I like to get these as flat as possible. And when you get all this stuff on here, it's impossible to staple it down and glue it down flat. So I just figure out where the backer is and go just below it, and then you can attach. And sometimes I'll even just do like a small one and use, you know, if I'm attaching a bell or something, and just glue it right here, and then have your bell here or down here, and that's fun too. So Marissa wanted to know about trinkets, and I've had to get a lot more stuff to store trinkets since I'm selling so many more, you know, different varieties and colors and stuff. So these were from the Dollar Tree, and I got these for some of my bigger stuff, like the packs and stuff. I only got 2 of those right now, but just for all those packs, those work great. And just, you can just stack them. I've got this big tote. And again, I've got some more packs, and then I've got all these, and all my bells are in here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a large, or I think that's a at least a 1-inch cowbell. Put all my bells in here, and then odd and end stuff, different stuff, and beads, and some hearts. I could do some fun hearts. I'll get some out just in case I want to do those. So I have like these little glitter balls and then different ornaments. So I put all that in here, just like different stuff. And then I've got all these drawers with these in them, and they're just stacked, and those are all trinkets. I've got 2 drawers of those, so all these have trinkets in them. And do these disco balls. I'm going to do a silver. The only thing about those red ones, they have a gold hanger on them. Yes, it is a learning process, TJ. Well, why aren't you selling mums on there? I think that will be a fun. It wasn't there like a dance at the end somewhere in the on Grease? There was a school dance, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a long time since I've watched Grease. I've got one more thing that I put trinkets in. I don't know if Marissa's still watching or not. So these containers, which this one was for nuts. Of course, I wash it out and let it dry. But you can get these little containers, all kinds of food items and stuff that come in them. I think this one was an M&M one. You get at Sam's. And there's some stuff at the grocery store that you get in these containers, but see, this one's all twine. I've got a whole bunch of these. And they're free because we bought the food item and I just saved them and washed them. So it's a free storage. Okay. Forgot about this ribbon too. Another Dollar Tree find. I think I showed this on the last one. I've got my little trash over here, so I need to move my trinkets so I don't get them mixed up. So I can make bows out of this. I can also add it to the mum somewhere. I want to add just a different element to it. Don't want to mess with my braids and make it look bad. Sometimes you can get going with too many designs and patterns and stuff, and it'll make it look bad, so you gotta be careful about that. Putting it under the box braid, but it lays there on the side of it. So even though I attached it underneath it, the box braid kind of goes this way, so that stays there. And I'm just going to cut an angle at the bottom just to give it a little something different. I knew I had some black glitter somewhere. Like to throw in a few different patterns and textures and whatever. And if you're too far down from the backer, just hot glue it where you want it. going to go ahead and attach this. I'm going to go ahead and staple that down some more because it's in the way. I always run out of staples. Good grief, I grabbed a whole bunch of them. Just being careful that I don't go under the backer. There. You have to decide how I want it. And do I want it facing that way? Where the black is going that way? Or do I want the red going that way? Or do I want it not even where any of them are up and down, where they're just kind of going different ways? Yep, I like that. So this way, I don't even have to worry about if they're being straight or not because I've got them going all different angles. There's not one going straight up and one going straight down. So I always want to add, make sure they're lined up as perfect as you can. And I always add 2 staples. The reason why I add 2 staples is if you only put one, then that backer will still move around. And the whole purpose of that is when I glue it down, I want them to be straight and even on top of each other. And so if you only do 1 staple, it's still going to move around and you might end up with it lopsided. And you don't want one sticking out further than the others. So now you just have to glue. Lots of glue in there. See what I did? I creased that. Luckily it's in the back and won't matter, but I still hate doing that. Now I'm just going to go around with my stapler and try to get all the way around. See how those are sealed so close together? That's what you want. You don't want any big gaps in there. Now this is the difficult part, so I just pull up those loops and try to get my stapler in there and make sure that I'm not going down past the backer. So I was able to get 2 right there. And I haven't cut out one for the very back yet, the clean one. I got these paper plates at Dollar Tree. They're really thin though, that's the only issue. And sometimes the staples, you can still feel the bumps from them, but they haven't broken through. So if some are really bad, I may have to do like double this up. But anyway, you get like 10. I want to say it's, hold on, let me look. No, you get 20. So you get 20 of these for $1. And I just roughly cut it where it's flat. And then I put it in my machine. I used to hand cut them, but now I put it in my scan and cut. So this is a 5-inch circle. So I'd cut it at like 5.2 just to make sure that it goes over just a little bit so it covers everything up. And so I can get a perfect circle. And so I get 20 of these for $1. You cannot buy backers for that. Even though this is really thin, like I said, if I need to do 2, then I can do 2, but most time I've only had to do 1. everything's secure. It's on there good. I can do my flower. I already secured my flower. I think I showed that on the last live stream. Now again, since I'm dealing with a bigger hole, you've got the issue where it can go like this. And you can see it's not a big deal, but you can see that it does look, if you got it off-centered, it will look a little lopsided. So that's the only thing about using ribbon spool ends. You have to be cautious of that. And what I do is I just line it up in the center, and then I hot glue all down here, get under there, and you just want to hold that in place. It's a little extra step, but it will make sure that my flower doesn't move around and that it's nice and centered up. So if you do want to use ribbon spool ends like I do, just be cautious of that. I learned that the hard way. So sometimes, you know, recycling or using products like this, finding new uses for them and saving myself money from buying backers, sometimes it causes me extra steps. So some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. But if you do want to do that, and you want to save money, or you just want to recycle stuff, then you might have to do an extra step or two, but it's not a big deal. It's not causing me a lot of grief or anything. I've honestly been doing this the whole time. I think the very first time I ordered mom supplies, I ordered backers, but then I just realized I could make my own. And so I've just been doing that ever since. So I just want to make sure that stays down good. Okay, it is on there good. So two options, you can just pull that over and staple it. And then cut it off. And I just fold it over. Or you can glue it in there in the center. And that's what I used to do a long time ago, and then I stopped doing it and started doing this, but every once in a while I still glue it in there because there's a hole in there, so you might as well fill it up. So now my flower is on there secure. It's not going anywhere. I like to get in there even further if I can. And go down about halfway. And then of course when you glue your backer on, you're gonna be gluing it to this, so that's even extra security. So of course I'm going to add some bling there and there. And here's that pink ladies. Look how cute that is. I'm going to do that. That's going to be one of the last things I do. So I'm going to go ahead and do this like I mentioned earlier. I'll hold it up and make sure where. So I'm just going to put a little hot glue, just so like the first 6 are hot glued down. I don't want to hot glue all of them. I want it to kind of dangle. You don't want it, I mean, well, that might be one of the things you want. It just depends on what you're looking for. So if you want it to dangle, but if you want it to be secure on there, like if you're trying to do it in the center of a ribbon like that, then you would just glue it all the way down. But you just got to be careful of that. Sometimes it'll look funny when you're holding it up. See, there's 10 people watching. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so I just want to figure out how far down I want my bell. And then you'll just glue. I don't need all of that. So again, I'm going to glue like the top 6 there, and just glue it back to those, so you don't want to be able to see it, know that it's got a back. So I've got them glued just back to back, so it looks like it's just these. So it looks very clean. So I do some hearts on there. I think that would be fun. This has little bone stickers, but I'm just going to peel that off. I don't trust anything like that that's self-sticky. I always do hot glue. Actually, I might dig out another one of those and put it down here. And then I can always put that in there, or I can glue it like I did that one. Or you can do a bow and glue it down. So I want to get my organza ribbons out because I like those for bows too. They make really good bows. So let me get that back down. You need to start marking these boxes so I know what's in everything. So there's the black and here's red. Those are both organzas and they're both from the Dollar Tree, but that one is, for some reason, much more bright, vivid red. You see they have these organzas in all different colors. I've got burgundy and purple, and there's a baby blue, and then there's two different pinks there, and there's like a peach and a yellow and a silver and a white. So I'm excited about those. I've got a little piece of red Chanel stem, so I can use that. So we'll say you could measure this out and do like 4 inches. These are so small, you just really have to like pinch it. And just go the opposite end. And I still try to twist those ribbons. Now you can just use that as a guide. Try to match them up. Organzas, they're not going to make perfect bows. They're going to be all, you know, there's going to be some that are kind of twisted and stuff. Just kind of go with the flow with them. Don't try to make them too perfect. It's just not going to happen. Move that so both tails are going the same direction. And I'm just going to go underneath it, and still I'm just pinching that in the center. And then you can make this one a little bit bigger. I don't usually make these little bows all uniform. I just kind of eyeball it how I want it. Give that a couple of twists and see. Just a fun little bow. It's nothing perfect about it. So again, don't try to be perfect, especially with this ribbon. Organza is the worst. You just can't. You just kind of let it do what it wants to do and leave it alone. You can just make sure your little ends are all trimmed up pretty. I like to do like a little slant, just cut them angled. So I could do a cute little bow down here. I need a bow up here to cover that up. So I definitely need one there. I could still do one on the bottom there. So I'm gonna do bows, lots and lots of bows. Go ahead and add that one there. And I'm not gonna glue that on there. You're more than welcome to glue if you want. I have had to pull bows off before, and if they're glued on, good luck. So what I do is I just glue or staple that chenille stem, and I get, oops, I almost took that ribbon with it. So I just get as close to the center of the bow as I can. On both sides. Now it's nice and secure. And then of course you want to fold over those ends. I fold one under and one over. Just kind of tuck them in so they're not sticking out. And then you've got your cute little bow on the top. So I could have done another set of loops, but I wanted to do a bow or something pretty on the top. So I allowed myself that room. So if you leave yourself that room, you can do something cute and pretty on there. And you can also end braids short, and if you wanted to do a bow or something underneath or on the bottom. I'm also going to do a bow with this. And one of my favorite bows that I've been doing that I started doing on mums this year is just simple like this. So let me see, that's about 11 to 12 inches long. And I'm just folding it like this. And then I give that like a twist, and then give that like a twist. So it looks like that. That side's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to go like this, adjust it. So it just looks like that, and then you pinch it in the center. And then you can do more colors or patterns behind it, on top of it. So I'm just gonna, let me just clip that. So, you know, you could leave it like that, but I just like the look of twisting it like that. I think it looks cuter like that. And then I don't do them even, I kind of do them like that. So one's going like this and one's going like that. And then just pinch it in the center as best you can. Then you can put a little bell on this if you want. That can be one way of attaching a bell. Give that a couple of twists. Look how cute that is. I think those are so cute and they're so easy to make. So I highly recommend trying these bows. Like I said, I just started doing these last season, and I started doing them a lot. I started doing them up here, on the braids. I just had so much fun with them. So I could do them, see, and it's not a big overpowering bow. But of course you can make them as big and as layered as you wanted to. and I prefer to staple it, but you do not have to do that. You can glue them on. Look how cute that is. And I like doing different bows. I like doing different bows on them and doing different ribbons for the bows. Not doing all the same. You can do all the same if you want. I just like changing it up. I like having, and it's like the fonts. I like doing different fonts. As you can see, I've got 3 different fonts going on. No, 4. I've got 4 fonts. I think it, you know, the way they used to do mums, you always use the same stickers and it was the same font. And I like changing it up. Thank you, TJ. I think it just adds personality to do it that way. I've got a bunch of ribbons over there too. You know, I told her I was going to add silver, but I haven't added that much. There's that and that, and that's about it. Again, I'm matching those up so they're back to back perfectly. And you don't want to add a whole bunch of hot glue. I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue on the back there because it will come through. Just gonna hot glue that to that ribbon. And I'm doing the first like 3 rows. A little protector here. So I can still do a tinsel puff here, or a pom-pom, some people call them, or the feathers, or another bow. And I always ask people, do they like feathers? Because some girls are like, I do not want feathers on mine. So I have learned to ask, is feathers okay? Is a little bit of feathers okay? Or because usually girls are one way or another. They either love them or they hate them. So I try to always ask. I think I'm going to do another bow. Let me look and see what ribbons. I can't decide if I want to make a matchy-matchy bow here or do something different. Okay, I'm just going to match that bow up. I've got some other ribbons, but I just really like this one. I think it's so cute. So I can just hold it over there and kind of match it up. A little bit bigger. Because once you crease it and everything, it makes it smaller, so Going a little bigger. I think this is a Hobby Lobby ribbon. It's a soft satin with glitter. I was just kind of matching up the size. Now I'm going to do that little twist that I like. And pinch it. Again, my bows are not perfect, so don't get stuck on trying to make them perfect. See, like that loop is bigger. I can pull that through a little bit, maybe. Just want that right there at the end. I still want to be able to see that a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I like them matching at the bottom, both ends. Again, that red and black ribbon is from Dollar Tree. That black glitter is from Hobby Lobby. These are Dollar Tree. That is Michael's. That is Hobby Lobby. That's Dollar Tree. I don't remember when I got that. I don't know that they still have that or not. I can't remember if it was seasonal or if it was everyday stuff. These little hearts for Hobby Lobby, they were a Valentine's find, so you can't find them right now. So I always check Hobby Lobby after whatever holiday or season, because you can find all kinds of things to go on mums, all kinds of fun stuff. Put some bling right in the middle of those swirls, and since those are red, I'm gonna do black. And I have these big ones. These were a Halloween Hobby Lobby find. They were orange, black, and clear ones. I just have to find the matching black one. See, I use all kinds of jars and stuff to hold all this stuff. I don't buy hardly anything. I reuse. That was like a, I think that's like a marinara jar. So I reuse a ton of stuff to hold my craft supplies, mom supplies. Just gonna tap that on there real carefully. I don't want to burn myself. Let's see, that just add, again, one more little element to add. Step up your mom. Go ahead and do my pink lady. I thought about doing like a feather or something behind it. I can still do that. I can glue it on and then decide if I want anything behind it. I may just do a bow. So you want to attach these flat. You don't want to curve them. I found that if you try to curve them, a lot of times they will separate, so don't do that. Then you want to get something like some scissors and just lay on top of it, and it'll give it just enough pressure to hold it where you need it. And then you can go underneath and start pressing down the petals, but just be very careful because that hot glue is oozing. See, I have this red feather I can cut down, put behind it. Of course, I'm losing a bunch of those. And I think these were from Hobby Lobby. It's just one big feather. If you had patience, you could attach these individually. Those are those pretty. And a lot of times, you know, you'll find out that it's kind of crooked or something, and you can usually just go like this and the petals will kind of move for you. I mean, sometimes I actually like things to be off-centered and kind of diagonal, or instead of straight up and down. Rarely will you see me do that. So I don't want the top showing. The problem. Yeah, that's what I want right there. The only problem about working with feathers. You want to sink those down in there into the petals because I just want it hidden and want them sticking out a little bit. So this just kind of reminds me of that. I'm just grabbing the petals on either side of it. I want to hide them in those petals, so I'll try to glue that real carefully. And I can still put a bow. I can still put a little bow right there, or here or here. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's super cute. Again, I still haven't done this. And I usually don't like to wait till the end. I just haven't cut it out yet, so it's fine. So I'm always holding this up and saying, okay, what else does it need? What else can I do to it? How does it look? It's looking really cute. I don't want to overdo it. You could still put another bow up here. You can still put bows everywhere. You can have fun with bows. And I could still, a lot of times I will staple either feathers, like a little feather ball, or tinsel on the bottom of those. It looks really cute to do that. So to cut this out, my mat looks terrible. I've got a bunch of vinyl on it. So I just try to make that so that. And then again, I will just do a circle, find a circle shape on my machine and do like 5.2 so it's big enough around that it covers up this one. And if I find that the staples or the Chanel stem are poking through it all, then I can do 2 of them. But so far I have not had to do that. But I know there might be one here or there that I have to do that too. I will bring my machine over here and let you guys see this. My cord is all wrapped up though. And this is an older scan and cut. I've had this thing for, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years, I would say. The mats can go in sideways all the time. I have to make sure I get it in there perfectly. And I can't remember what I need the blade on, so I gotta be careful. I'm just picking a circle and then going up to about 5.2. And then you can scan. The thing that sold me on this machine is that you can scan stuff in. So I'm going to scan that. That now I know exactly where to place the circle. So I don't know, you guys probably can't see that. I can just move the circle right in the center of this so I know exactly where to place it. And hopefully I didn't put, that's a new blade and it's cutting through everything, so I've got to be careful. I'm going to put it down just a little bit. circle. And then on these, of course, there's the rough side and then there's the glossy side. So you want to try and put the glossy side on the outside because that's going to make it more water resistant and whatever else. So I have accidentally glued this side down. It wasn't a big deal, but I prefer to do this side on the outside. Make sure I did that good. Yep, it's just over barely, so just covering that up. So I found if you go like I think it's 0.2, it was 5.20 is what it was. So 5.20 or 2.5 over is perfect. That's very hot. Oh no. I had something stuck on there. Tap that down. Now you can go through on the very edges because you still want to make sure it's down really good. It's all about giving it a clean look, covering up those staples. I actually saw somebody last year, they brought over a mum a relative had bought and from somebody, and it didn't have a flower, it just had some ribbons and some loops, and then it had all this stapled mess and there was nothing covering that up, and it was a hot mess. She's like, is there anything you can do with this? I said, no, I can make you something brand new. It was a hot mess, the whole thing was. So don't ever give somebody one of these with all that stapled mess. Cover it up with something, even if it's just felt or something. Can you imagine how that would snag on your shirt and you could cut somebody? Oh, it would be awful. Okay. Yeah, so it's nice and clean. So I want to put another heart, like I said, I'm going to dig out another one of those. And I may do some sports balls. I think I'll ask the customer what she thinks about that. And then I think I want another, like I said, I think I want a bow up here. Maybe just in black. I think that sounds good, just a black ribbon. Or I could even do silver, but I like the idea of the black the best. I have some really wide organza, black organza. I need to find it. I'm sure it's over here. Yes, it is. So that's about, from point to point, it's about 19 inches. So I'm going to do that same design, same style of bow. Give that a twist there, and a twist there. And then just pinch, pinch, pinch. Look how cute that is. Don't want the chenille stem very long. You don't need them very long. I already did the angles and the cuts. Get over there so you guys can see it better. So you could glue it like this instead of like that. Put that down. You can glue it right behind that custom cutout too and attach it to the custom cutout like this. So all I do is just add the hot glue onto that chenille stem and then put it in there where I wanted it. Kind of hold it there for a minute. And I may go through and make another little bow and put on top of there because I really want it full. So I may use this on top of that. See how that looks. Again, you can't really do a whole lot with this organza. Just pinching it and forming loops. Sometimes I twist the ribbon because it needs it. Sometimes I don't. Just keep going back and forth until you get it as full as you want it. There it is. You see some of the loops are funny looking. It's okay, that's just how this ribbon is. You just have to kind of bear with it. Always kind of eyeball it, see how I like it before I start gluing stuff in. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And you can go ahead and glue like this. Just kind of let it sit. You can kind of tap it in, but let it sit for a little bit before you start messing with it too much. You're going to get burnt. Yeah, I like that. I wanted something real dramatic looking over here. See, I'm still getting hot glue on me. Luckily it's not as hot as it was. I'll probably still do a few little touch-ups, some more bling. You know, I could add some more bling throughout there. I might add some on these loops. I'm just going to kind of see what it looks like, kind of play around with it. And I could do some of that on here if I wanted to. A lot of times in the center of bows, I'll put a piece of bling, some kind of little bling. Even though I'm using a little metallic chenille stem that makes it sparkly, I still like to do some kind of little bling there. I could put a little piece of bling on the side. So there's still some little touch-ups and stuff I'll do, but I'm getting to the point where I need to walk away. There's always a point when I'm making a mum where I need to walk away and you know, just take a rest or something and then start back, because you just start, ugh. You can't think anymore, can't be creative anymore. So that is it for now. I will, again, I'm going to be uploading a video for this. I just did that one. I'll be uploading a video for this, just the regular whip braid without the extra ribbons. And so if there's anything that you're wanting to see, please comment and let me know what you're wanting, what kind of videos you're wanting to see. If you've got any questions, you can super chat right now. I mean, live chat, not super chat, sorry. Live chat right now. I'll stay on here for a minute, see if anybody's got any questions. This is like an 18-inch streamers and ribbons and braids. And it's a 5-inch flower, 5-inch backer. I don't guess anybody's gonna have any. Thank you for showing your process. Well, you're welcome, TJ. I'm so glad you got to join in, and thank you, Marissa, for watching and chatting. I guess she must have left because she didn't say anything else from the beginning, so she must have had to go. Thank you, everybody else that's joined in. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you guys have a good Friday afternoon and good weekend. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.